Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing the most requested video on my channel, no matter how soon I post them. And that is my 2018 bookshelf tour. And I'm sorry because I know that it is long overdue, but I had a lot of things going on in my life between moving and everything, and it's taken me a really long time to finalize a shelf scheme that really made me very happy. And I finally gotten to the point where now I look forward to waking up in the morning just so I can come into my library room and just admire the beauty of my shelves. So I'm excited to do this. I hope that you guys are excited to see it, and without further ado, here we go. So here we go. This is the first shelf. We're going to start with what is on top of my bookshelf, and then I'll show you everything on the shelves. Cushy El's Dart by Jacqueline Carey, Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir, The View from the Cheap Seats by Neil Gaiman, Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, American Gods, the 10th Anniversary Edition by Neil Gaiman, which is also signed, Age of War by Michael J. Sullivan. Then I have a box set of The Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman, which consists of The Magicians, The Magician King, and The Magician's Land. Then that brings us to the first shelf, which is mostly white and white-ish and black contemporary books. On the shelf also I have 3 candles. The first one is One More Chapter by CanterburyRoadCo, the second one is Emergency Dance Party by Flick the Wick, and the third one is Reading in the Rain by CanterburyRoadCo. Then I've got my Smaug Funko. So we have the Nantucket Blue and Nantucket Red books by Layla Howland, which is the Nantucket duology. Then I've got To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever Lara Jean, all by Jenny Han. Then I have Burn for Burn, Fire with Fire, and Ashes to Ashes, all by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. Then I have 99 Days, 9 Days and 9 Nights, and Fireworks, all by Katie Cotugno. And I have the Target exclusive edition of 9 Days and 9 Nights. One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. First and Then by Emma Mills. The Rules for Disappearing and the Rules for Breaking by Ashley Elston. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu. Save the Date by Morgan Matson. And Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. Next we have the beginning of my Rainbow Contemporary shelf, and on the shelf I have the Enchanted Rose from Beauty and the Beast, which I got at Disney World. Then I have a Mead Creamery candle for the book Stay Sweet, which was a custom candle that CanterburyRoadCo made for me. Then I have an ice cream cone light that I got at an anime convention, Reading on the Boardwalk candle by CanterburyRoadCo. And then on top of my books, I have a Cath candle from Meraki Candles, but they are no longer a shop. Prince in Disguise by Stephanie Kate Strom. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. The 12 Days of Dash and Lily by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. Girl Against the Universe by Paula Stokes. When Dimple Met Rishi by Santaya Menon. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Fangirl by Rainbow Roel. The Boy Most Likely To by Huntley Fitzpatrick. The Long Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. Open Road Summer and The Start of Me and You, both by Emery Lord. The Fixer by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. How to Love by Katie Cotugno. Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. Fangirl by Rainbow Roel. American Panda by Gloria Chow. And The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Next we have more Rainbow Contemporaries. So the first things that we have on the shelf are an Aylin candle by CanterburyRoadCo. We have a unicorn mug that I'm obsessed with. We have One More Chapter Romance Edition by CanterburyRoadCo. And I have a pink Eiffel Tower. The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love by Sarvanez Tosh. Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. The Owl Crazy Great Edition of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills, The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, From Twinkle with Love by Sentaya Manon, and this is also an Owl Crate exclusive edition, Love, Life, and the List by Casey West, The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord, Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills, Ship It by Britta London, What I Thought Was True by Huntley Fitzpatrick, Once and For All by Sarah Dussin, Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Ockler, P.S. I Like You by Casey West, The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu, The Bells by Danielle Clayton, From Twinkle with Love by Sentaya Manon, Shuffle Repeat by Jen Klein, Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, My True Love Gave to Me, and Summer Days and Summer Nights, both edited by Stephanie Perkins with stories from various YA authors, Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett, and Geekerella by Ashley Poston. On our next shelf, we have a bunch of fantasy reads, but first we have a Resand and Feyre Candle, both by CanterburyRoadCo, and we also have a Funko Cogsworth and a Funko Lumiere. First we have Dreamer's Pool, Tower of Thorns, and Den of Wolves, all by Juliette Marillier, The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst, Kill the Farm Boy, which is already nicely flipped out for me, by Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn, Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow, And I Darken by Kirsten White, Heart's Blood by Juliette Marillier, Master Assassins by Robert V.S. Reddick, An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and A Reaper in the Gates by Saba Tahir, The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington, and then I have a box set of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor, which consists of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters. On our next shelf, I have a bunch of paperback fantasy books, and starting with my little knickknacks, I have a little statue of Frodo and a statue of Gandalf, and both of these are by Weta Works. I also have a Toil and Trouble candle by CanterburyRoadCo, and I have the key from the really bad Hobbit movies. Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, Solace by Gail Carriger, Senlin Ascends and Arm of the Sphinx, both by Josiah Bancroft, Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castel, Maplecroft by Cherry Priest, The Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate, and The Stone Sky, all by N.K. Jemisin, and all three are Hugo Award winners. The Invisible Library, The Masked City, and The Burning Page, all by Genevieve Cogman. Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, Red Shirts by John Scalzi, Theft of Swords, Rise of Empire, and Heir of Navrin, all by Michael J. Sullivan. The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, also known as Seanan McGuire. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Equal Rights, Word Sisters, and Witches Abroad, all by Terry Pratchett. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Heart of the Fae and Veins of Magic by Emma Hamm. Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. Drown by Esther Delsano. The Mermaid by Christina Henry. Stardust by Neil Gaiman. The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Sunshine by Robin McKinley. The Game of Kings by Dorothy Dennett. Wool by Hugh Howey, which is actually Andrew's book. The Architect of Song and The Hummingbird Heart, both by A.G. Howard. Next, I have a hardcover shelf of just like heavy books that hopefully help keep the foundation on this bookshelf. First, I have Written in Red, Marked in Flesh, and Murder of Crows, all by Anne Bishop. So Say We All, the complete, uncensored, unauthorized oral history of Battlestar Galactica by Mark A. Altman and Edward Gross. All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. Slugfest, Inside the Epic 50-Year Battle Between Marvel and DC by Reed Tucker. I have the Folio Society box set of Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials series, which consists of The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. The Fairy Handbook and The Mermaid Handbook, both by Carolyn Turgeon. Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. And a lot of heavy Harry Potter hardcovers. Here we go. J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World Movie Magic, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. The Creature Vault, The Artifact Vault, The Character Vault, and Magical Places from the Films, all by Jodie Revinson. Harry Potter Film Wizardry. Harry Potter, Page to Screen. And finally, The Art of Harry Potter, the Barnes & Noble exclusive book. And that brings us to the end of bookshelf 1. So bookshelf 2, we have my Star Wars Funkos. So we have Holdo, Leia, Ahsoka, Captain Phasma, Rose Tico, another Leia, Rey, another Ahsoka, Chewbacca, a crystal snow fox, and Kylo Ren. Right underneath that, we have some fantasy and sci-fi hardcovers, but we have an Autumn Prince candle and a Manon candle, both from the Melting Library, and I have a Ketterdam candle from In the Wick of Time. First, we have Rebel Rising by Beth Revis, Lock-In by John Scalzi, Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray, Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, World War Z by Max Brooks, the old hardcover of Vicious by V.E. Schwab, Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, The Savage Song and Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab, The Valiant by Leslie Livingston, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, The Dollmaker of Krakow by R.M. Romero, Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston, The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey, Reign of Shadows and Rise of Fire by Sophie Jordan, The Bone Witch by Rin Chapeko, Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin, Hunted by Megan Spooner, Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf, and The Falconer, The Vanishing Throne, and The Fallen Kingdom, all by Elizabeth May. Next, we have some more hardcover fantasy books. But first, I have a Fox mug that I got from ModCloth. I have A World with Octobers, which is an Anne of Green Gables candle that I got from the Melting Library. I have a unicorn macaroon lip gloss thing that I got from Box Lunch, a Queen of Tarts candle, which is also from the Melting Library, and in All Good Things Are Wild and Free coaster that has the most precious little fox on it from one of my Owl Crate boxes. First, we have Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire, which is a Nutcracker retelling. We have Truth Witch, Wind Witch, and Sight Witch, all by Susan Dennard. The Bear and the Nightingale and The Girl in the Tower, both by Catherine Arden. The UK edition of Circe by Madeline Miller. The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages, all by Brandon Sanderson. The UK edition of Uprooted by Naomi Novik. And the UK editions of Caraval and Legendary by Stephanie Gerber. Heartless by Marissa Meyer, Warcross by Marie Lu, Daughters of the Storm by Kim Wilkins, and the UK edition of Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Alrighty, so now we are up to my Shadowhunter shelf. So starting with the things on top, we have 3 candles, all from the Melting Library. There is Will, Idris, and Gem. And then I have a Funko Pop of Castiel from Supernatural. I also have 3 magnetic bookmarks from Happy Hello Co, and they are of Gem, Will, and Tessa. And those are on the Infernal Devices books. So first you have Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess, and all of these are the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. Everything on the shelf, in fact, is going to be by Cassandra Clare. Then we have City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass, which are the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series. Then we have City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, making up the rest of the Mortal Instruments. Then I have the Bane Chronicles and Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. The Bane Chronicles is by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, and Maureen Johnson, and Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy is by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Wasserman. Then I have the Waterstones exclusive editions of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows, which are the first 2 books in the Dark Artifices trilogy, and I have pre-ordered the 3rd one. Cannot wait for December 4th. Then I have the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. And lastly, I have the 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Then I have my first shelf of CanterburyRoadCo candles, and the candles that I have displayed here are Reading by Witchlight, currently reading Autumn Edition. That's actually the one from last year, and there's a really pretty new label for this year. Then I have Quoth, and almost all the way burned through Something Wicked This Way Comes, Avon Leah, Whimsy's Enchantment, Rebel Scum, Carden, The Cruel Prince, Fillory, and London Fog, which smells exactly like a steaming cup of Earl Grey tea. Next, we have a shelf of fantasy favorites, and one that I feel like is going to be a favorite once I read it. And this shelf has an intentional space for Kingdom of Ash, which is coming out shortly, and that will complete my Throne of Glass collection. But starting with the stuff on the shelf, I have a little Books and Tea wooden coaster, but I can't remember what shop it's from. I have a Lady Buckbeak candle from Flick the Wick. I have a little plaid pumpkin, which I think I got at Target. I have a little like lamppost thing that was part of like a Christmas set from Michaels. And then I also have a Le Cirque de Rêve literary passport candle by CanterburyRoadCo. So the first 4 books are The Assassin's Blade, which is the series of short stories, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and Tower of Dawn, all by Sarah J. Maas. Empire of Storms is the Target exclusive edition, and Tower of Dawn is the Barnes & Noble special edition, and soon Kingdom of Ash. Six of Crows and the Target exclusive edition of Crooked Kingdom, both by Lee Bardugo. 2 copies of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. The US hardcovers of Caraval and Legendary, both by Stephanie Garber. Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, and Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Also waiting on my UK edition of Muse of the Nightmares, which I can't wait to add to this shelf. Next we have a hardcover shelf of kind of spooky or atmospheric books. First I have a Blood Queen candle from Flick the Wick. I have a Death Funko from the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. I have a cute little fox, and I have a Gansey the King candle from CanterburyRoadCo. The Starlit Wood, New Fairy Tales by various authors and edited by Dominic Parisian and Nava Wolf. Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. The Graces by Laurie Eve. Toil and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women and Witchcraft by Jessica Spotswood and Tess Sharp. A Darker Shade of Magic by Victoria Schwab. The first one is the exclusive collector's edition. The second one is the Barnes & Noble special edition collector's edition. And the third one is the regular book. And A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light, also both by Victoria Schwab. Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall. The Sacrifice Box by Martin Stewart. Anna Dressed in Blood and Girl of Nightmares by Kendari Blake. City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. Doll Bones by Holly Black. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. Uprooted and Spinning Silver, both by Naomi Novik. The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King, all by Maggie Steve Bader. And I made a separate video about these covers if you are interested in where to find them yourself. Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman and illustrated by Chris Riddell. And Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor. And on this shelf, I have a slew of rainbow candles from Novelly Yours, starting with Book Rainbow. Then I have a little TBR frame that I got from like Michael's or something. Then I have Transfiguration Teacher, Gansey, TBR, Cats, Lemon Tarts, currently reading, Shipping It, and Stars Eternal. And this shelf is largely paperback books, some of which I have read, some of which I have not yet read. So first we have the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy, which consists of The Deal, The Mistake, The Score, and The Goal. The movie tie-in edition of To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Diary of a Haunting by M. Burano. The Wrong Side of Right by Jen Marie Thorne. Fallen Air by Erin Watt. London Belongs to Me and London Can You Wait by Jacqueline Middleton. The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer, all by Jenny Han. Born Wicked, Star Cursed, and Sister's Fate, all by Jessica Spotswood, and this is the Cahill Witch Chronicles. Bells, Winter White, and The Grass is Always Greener by Jen Calanita. Bird Box by Josh Mallerman. 10 by Gretchen McNeil. Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. Marie Antoinette, Serial Killer by Katie Allender. How to Love by Katie Cotugno. The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer, all by Jenny Han. Royally Screwed by Emma Chase. The Fill-In Boyfriend, On the Fence, and By Your Side, all by Casey West. Lux Beginnings, Lux Opposition, and Lux Consequences, all by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks. Sweet Filthy Boy by Christina Lauren. Moon and More, What Happened to Goodbye, Along for the Ride, Lock and Key, and This Lullaby, all by Sarah Dessen. Generation Dead by Daniel Waters. Drink Slay Love by Sarah Beth Durst. And the Iron King box set by Julie Kagawa. And the series consists of The Iron King, The Iron Daughter, The Iron Queen, and The Iron Knight. Here we go, bookshelf number 3. On the top, we've got Cogsworth and Lumiere, and then I have a bunch of Lord of the Rings books that I'm not going to show one by one because quite honestly, they are very heavy. Maybe I will film a Lord of the Rings collection video at some point in the future. Let me know if you want to see that, and if you want to, then I'll show them in there. So moving on to the first shelf, I have The Innkeeper, which is a Name of the Wind candle by CanterburyRoadCo. The Pie Maker, which is from Pushing Daisies. Jude the Kingmaker, all of them by CanterburyRoadCo. Then I have Flannel and Fiction, and that is a Melting Library candle. This shelf has more hardcover fantasies, so we've got The Winter's Curse, The Winter's Crime, and The Winter's Kiss, all by Marie Rutkowski. Grave Mercy, Dark Triumph, and Mortal Heart, all by Robin Lefevers, and this is the His Fair Assassin trilogy. Trilogy. Ink and Bone and Paper and Fire, both by Rachel Kane, and these are part of the Great Library series. The Story Spinner and The Skylighter, which are the Keeper's Chronicles by Becky Wallace. Something Strange and Deadly, A Darkness Strange and Lovely, and Strange Ever After, all by Susan Dennard. Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. Roar by Cora Carmack. Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen, both by Trisha Levenseller. The Girl at Midnight, The Shadow Hour, and The Savage Dawn, all by Melissa Gray. And Passenger and Wayfarer, both by Alexandra Bracken. Next we have a shelf of hardcover fantasies, mostly. First I have a Sookie's Kitchen Candle from In the Wick of Time. I have an Autumn Court candle from the Melting Library. I have a Chevron pumpkin and a Lucian candle from Wiccan Fable. The Queens of Innislear by Tessa Gratton. The World of Lore Monstrous Creatures and The World of Lore Wicked Mortals, both by Aaron Menke. Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu and Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight, all by Sarah J. Maas. Half a King, Half the World, and Half a War, all by Joe Abercrombie. Phasma by Delilah S. Dawson. Bloodline by Claudia Gray. Dark Disciple by Christy Golden. Last Shot by Danielle Jose Older. Star Wars The Last Jedi by Jason Fry. And Thrawn Alliances, both by Timothy Zahn. Next we have some more hardcover fantasies, and then we also have a candle shelf. So starting on the topmost shelf, I have another Autumn Court candle, this one from Wiccan Fable. I have, I think it's Titan merchandise figures of Over the Garden Wall, and then I have a Stars Hollow candle from Wiccan Fable. In Other Lands by Sarah Reese Brennan. Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. The Poppy War by R.F. Kwang. Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada. Grey Sister by Mark Lawrence. Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. The Greatest Book in the World, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. The Diviners by Libba Bray. Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Campfire by Sean Sarles. And Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Then this is the second half of my little candle display. These are all Canterbury Roadco candles yet again, and they are Rowan Whitethorn, Hobbit Hole, Uprooted, Ancient Magus Bride, Coraline, One More Chapter, Fairytale Edition, September in Fairyland, Super Space Chick, which Shannon made especially for me for Christmas, currently reading, and The Hinterland. Next, I have another favorite shelf. I love this shelf so much. This is a lot of hardcover fantasies. Okay, so first I have a little deer head that I got at Target, and it's supposed to be a Christmas ornament, but I have commandeered it for my bookshelf. Then I have a Lucian candle from the Melting Library. I have a Trees Speak Latin candle from the Melting Library, and I also have another plaid pumpkin from Target. So first we have the UK hardcovers of Nevernight and Godsgrave, and then the US hardcovers of Nevernight and Godsgrave, all by Jay Kristoff. The Cruel Prince and The Cruel Prince, both by Holly Black. The black version is the Barnes & Noble exclusive cover. The Language of Thorns by Lee Bardugo. The 10th anniversary edition of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. One day we'll get a third book. The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily Lily Blue, and The Raven King, all by Maggie Stiefvater, and that makes up the Raven Cycle. The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. The green cover is the Owl Crate exclusive edition. And Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. Now we've got some more hardcover favorites. And I feel like I keep using favorites a lot, but genuinely, I love everything on my shelf, or I'm really looking forward to reading it, so I feel good about these. Okay, so first I have a Love Simon candle from Canterbury Roadco. I have a little Alaska Moscow Mule shot glass that's actually from Alaska when we went to visit family. And I have a little fox succulent that matches a mug that I have. And I also have a Legend candle from Flick the Wick. So first we have The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, This Is Our Story by Ashley Elston, How to Hang a Witch and Haunting the Deep, both by Adriana Mather, Every Heart a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and Beneath the Sugar Sky, all by Shannon Maguire, Frostblood, Fireblood, and Nightblood, all by Ellie Blake, Scythe and Thunderhead, both by Neil Schusterman, Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising, all by Lee Bardugo, The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, The Archived and The Unbound, both by Victoria Schwab, Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter, which are the Lunar Chronicles, all by Marissa Meyer, and Stardust and Coraline, both by Neil Gaiman, and Coraline is also illustrated by Chris Riddell. And the final shelf on bookshelf number 3 is a lot of hardcover books that are on my TBR that I have not yet read. But first, we've got a Together in Paris candle from the Melting Library, we've got a Tea with the Dowager candle from CanterburyRoadCo, we've got a Little Mrs. Potts Funko, and we've got the Canterbury Tales candle from CanterburyRoadCo, and we've got Meet Cute from the Melting Library. First, we have Pivot Point and Split Second, both by Casey West, and these are actually, I think, the only 2 books on the shelf that I have read. When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie Macklemore, The Assassin Game by Kirsty McKay, Shadowfell, Ravenflight, and The Caller, all by Juliette Marillier, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge, Amberlou by Laura Elena Donnelly, Rebel Genius by Michael Dante DiMartino, Ruined by Amy Tintera, Jacoby and Beastly Bones, both by William Ritter, Arabella of Mars by David D. Levine, and The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. Shiny Broken Pieces by Sonia Chirapatra and Daniel Clayton, Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca, Famous Last Words by Katie Allender, Dead to Me by Mary McCoy, A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis, The Lies They Tell by Gillian French, After the Woods by Kim Savage, They All Fall Down by Roxanne St. Clair, The Perfectionists and the Good Girls, both by Sarah Shepard, Last Seen Leaving by Caleb Roehrig, Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Magnolia by Kirsty Cook, Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, the Owl Crate exclusive cover of My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows, Up to This Point by Jennifer Longo, Far from the Tree by Robin Benway, Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen, The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner, Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway, Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios, Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer, Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella, and You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Levithan. End of bookshelf 3, one more to go. And starting out my final bookshelf right at the top, actually I'm going to show you the knickknacks on the shelf first so I can move them. So I have a little Rapunzel statue, then I have a Mickey and Minnie Tsum Tsum lip smacker, I have a Rainbow of Valaris candle from Novel Yours, and I have a Manon candle from Flick the Wick. So everything on these shelves, minus the Neil Gaiman books, are all UK paperback editions. First, I have this glorious box set of the Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, and the books in this series are The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. Then I have The Way of Kings Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson. Then I have the 10th anniversary hardcover editions of The Final Empire and The Well of Ascension, both also part of the Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Then I have the 10th anniversary edition of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Then I have the 10th anniversary editions of The Lies of Loch Lamora and Red Seas Under Red Skies, both by Scott Lynch and both part of the Gentleman Bastard series. Then I have the 10th anniversary editions of The Blade Itself and Before They Are Hanged, both by Joe Abercrombie. Then I have these super cool vintage paperback editions of Neil Gaiman's works. So I have Stardust, Neverwhere, American Gods, and Anansi Boys. Moving on to the next shelf, I have the UK paperbacks of The Immortal Instruments, the first one being City of Bones, the second one being City of Ashes, the third one being City of Glass, the fourth one being City of Fallen Angels, the fifth one being City of Lost Souls, and the sixth one being City of Heavenly Fire. Then I have Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and Tower of Dawn, all by Sarah J. Maas, The Name of the Wind, The Wise Man's Fear, and The Slow Regard of Silent Things, all by Patrick Rothfuss, The Lies of Loch Lamora, Red Seas Under Red Skies, and The Republic of Thieves, all by Scott Lynch, and all part of the Gentleman Bastard series, The Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest, all by Robin Hobb, and this is the Farseer trilogy. Next we have yet another fantasy shelf. Are you sensing a theme in my bookshelf? You should be. So first I have two candles. I have Currently Reading Summer Edition, and I have Revieurs, both by Canterbury Roadco. Then I have the First Law Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, starting with the blade itself. Next is Before They Are Hanged, and then the last book is Last Argument of Kings. Then I have the UK hardcovers of An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night, both by Saba Tahir. Then I have the German edition of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which my parents so kindly picked up for me when they went to Germany last year. Then I have the Heir Awakens series by Elise Kova, the first one being Heir Awakens, the second one being Fire Falling, the third one being Earth's End, the fourth one being Water's Wrath, and the fifth one being Crystal Crowned. Then I have Snow White and Rose Red by Patricia C. Reed. Then I have my original editions of The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, both by Patrick Rothfuss. Next I have Wildwood Dancing by Juliette Merlier. Next I have what is currently published of the A Song of Fire and Ice series by George R. R. Martin, the first one being A Game of Thrones, the second one being A Clash of Kings, the third one being A Storm of Swords, the fourth one being A Feast for Crows, and the fifth one being A Dance with Dragons. Then I have Heroine Complex by Sarah Kuhn, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, The Curse Workers Red Glove, and The Curse Workers Black Heart, both by Holly Black, and I know I'm missing one of the books. Then I have the Modern Fairytale Trilogy by Holly Black, the first one being Tithe, the second one being Valiant, and the third one being Ironside. Then I have the books that are currently published in the Queen's Thief series in paperback, the first one being The Thief, the second one being The Queen of Atolia, the third one being The King of Atolia, and the fourth one being A Conspiracy of Kings. And lastly, I have The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. Next, we have my Sci-Fi Shelf, and starting from the left, I have a Leia Lip Smackers thing. I have a Babs candle and a Dick Grayson candle, both by CanterburyRoadCo. I have my Sphero BB-8, and I also have my One More Chapter Fantasy Edition and One More Chapter Sci-Fi Edition candles from CanterburyRoadCo. First, we have The Martian by Andy Weir, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, Sleeping Giants, Waking Gods, and Only Human, which make up the Themis Files trilogy by Sylvain Neuvel, The Three-Body Problem by Chixin Liu and translated by Ken Liu, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, Levithan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abaddon's Gate, Cibola Burn, Nemesis Games, and Babylon's Ashes, and all 6 of these are part of the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. Then I have a bunch of urban fantasy books by Kim Harrison, and these are part of the Hollow series, but just so you know, they are not in order because they're not numbered, and I was too lazy to look it up when I was putting them on my shelf, so there's that. First we have The Undead Pool, then we have For a Few Demons More, then we have The Turn, then we have A Perfect Blood, then we have Pale Demon, and then we have A Fistful of Charms. Then we have The Outlaw Demon Whales, The Witch with No Name, Ever After, White Witch, Black Curse, Dead Witch Walking, The Good, The Bad, and The Undead, and those are actually books 1 and 2 in the series. Every Which Way But Dead, and Black Magic Sanction. Then I have Dark Fever by Karen Marie Morning, which is another urban fantasy, Magic Bites by Alona Andrews, more urban fantasy, and His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik, and this is the first book in the Temeraire Chronicles. Next we have the first of my middle grade shelves. So starting all the way at the left, I have a Narnia candle from CanterburyRoadCo. I have a Harry Potter mug from Primark. I have an Aloha Mora candle from Flick the Wick. I have a Gandalf Funko, and I have a creepy Coraline doll that I love. So first I have this lovely box set of the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce, and this consists of Alana, the First Adventure, In the Hand of the Goddess, The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, and Lioness Rampant. Next I have the first 3 books in the Immortals series by Tamara Pierce, so that consists of Wild Magic, Wolf Speaker, and Emperor Mage. Then I've got Tamsin by Peter S. Beagle, Sabriel, Lyriel, and Aborson, all by Garth Nix. I have a box set of the Chronicles of Prydian by Lloyd Alexander, and that series consists of the Book of 3, The Black Cauldron, The Castle of Lear, Terran Wanderer, and The High King. Then I have the first 3 books in the Merlin series by T.A. Barron, the first one being The Lost Years, the second one being The 7 Songs, and the third one being The Raging Fires. Next I have A Place Called Perfect by Helena Dugan. Next I have the books of Bayern Quartet by Shannon Hale, the first one being The Goose Girl, the second one being Enna Burning, the third one being River Secrets, and the fourth one being Forest Born. Then I have Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Air, and House of Many Ways, all by Diana Wynne Jones. Next we have another middle grade shelf, and on this one I have my Lord of the Rings Funkos. So I have Legolas, Samwise Gamgee, Frodo, Saruman, Merry Brandywine, and Pippin Took. So first I have this giant box set of The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, and this is one series that I've been meaning to read forever. So this series consists of Aragon, Eldest, Brisingar, and Inheritance, all by Christopher Paolini. Then we have The Girl Who Circumvented Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, and The Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Rebels There, both by Catherine M. Valenti. Circus Mirandus by Cassie Beasley. Wonderstruck and the Invention of Hugo Cabret, both by Brian Selznick. The Never-Ending Story by Michael End. Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. The Adventurers Guild by Zach Loren Clark and Nick Eliopoulos. A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. The Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. The first one being The Lightning Thief, the second one being The Sea of Monsters, the third one being The Titan's Curse, the fourth one being The Battle of the Labyrinth, and the fifth one being The Last Olympian. And the Peter and the Starcatchers trilogy by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, the first one being Peter and the Starcatchers, the second one being Peter and the Shadow Thieves, and the third one being Peter and the Secret of Rundun. Then we've got Wildwood, written by Colin Malloy with illustrations by Carson Ellis. The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. Philip Pullman, Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm. The 50th anniversary edition of The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. And Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. And the last and final shelf on my bookshelf is my ARC shelf. And I have too many ARCs that it's a little bit overflowing, so I also have a little pile in front of it, and I'll show you those as well. I'm actually going to start with those so I can move them. So we have In an Absent Dream by Shannon McGuire, Empire of Sand by Tasha Surrey, Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett, The Wicked King by Holly Black, The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. This is a chapter sampler. A chapter sampler of King of Scars by Lee Bardugo, and Rune of Stars by Lindsay Miller. Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, Muse of Nightmares by Lainey Taylor, This Cruel Design by Emily Suvada, Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Negan, Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, Kingdom of the Blazing Phoenix by Julie C. Dow, which I mentioned in the acknowledgements of, and I'm so excited about it. The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart, White Rabbit by Caleb Rohrig, Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian, Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake, Little Do We Know by Tamara Ireland Stone, Witchmark by C.L. Polk, Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil, Seafire by Natalie C. Parker, Rule by Ellen Goodlett, What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, Broken Things by Lauren Oliver, Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepard, Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman, The Lying Woods by Ashley Elston, Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Dear Evan Hansen, the novel by Val Emick, Stephen Levinson, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul, All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, Arasha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi, Dear Heartbreak, YA Authors and Teens on the Dark Side of Love by various authors, Paperback Crush by Gabriella Moss, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, my copy of The Wicked King by Holly Black, The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Cholk, The Last Life of Prince Alistair by Alexandra Bracken, The Art of Losing by Lizzie Mason, The Girl King by Mimi Yu, and Imprison the Sky by A.C. Goggin. And we're done. And that's it! Those are all of the books. I hope that you enjoyed my bookshelf tour, and I don't have to do another one until next year. Yay! That's all that I have for this video. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I have a very sore throat now, so I'm gonna drink a very large cup of tea. Bye!